Hello YouTube artist! Welcome to In the Studio with Kelly Hernig. Today I'm going to share with you how I painted 5 minutes a day for 365 days and what I learned and how it changed my art life. Want a sneak peek? I know, they're sweet, aren't they? Let's go take a look. I'm going to share what this book has done for me in 2023. I have finished a year of painting every single day. Now, the painting took 5 to 10 minutes. Most of them were 5. I've even had some under 5. You'll see as I go along. I want to share the inspiration so you can see how everyday items inspired me to just create a piece of art. It was real important for me that I worked in a book. I wanted everything to be in one place. This is a handmade sketchbook. It's an old children's book. Look how big it is. So it's really a great size. This was made by Sketchbook Company. They are no longer making these. They went a different way with their journey, but I am so thankful to have this. This is Fabriano 140-pound cold press watercolor paper, and it's my favorite watercolor paper. In here, I started the year with 2023, and I created what I call a circle of delight. So I want you to think of a pie that is divided into 8 pieces. So in half, and then in half and in half again, so that you have 8 equal pieces. Each of these pie shapes has 4 days in it. Every 4 days, there were a quadrant, so that by the end of the month, depending on this date, some months have 28, some have 31. So this one is usually empty. So I usually carry the first date over just a little bit, and you'll see that more as I got more comfortable with it. My objective for this was to learn to watercolor different than my photorealism, different than colored pencil, different than making art really hard and exact. I wanted to try being loose and a little more playful. It is the story of my life in this little circle. I can tell you even now that it is February of 2024, what happened in January, by the way that I chose to illustrate this and by the details. So I have, like, these are a pair of slippers that I got for Christmas. So it just says slippers, new slippers here. I've written little codes to give me a way to remember. And I wanted to just share with you some of the things that this has taught me. It taught me to be consistent. It taught me to create a habit for myself, a habit that was doable. I knew I could do 5 to 10 minutes a day, and it honed my observation skills. By that, you'll see in some of the items, like this is a little ceramic palette that I have. So this palette is a little bigger, but I took a corner of it here to give me a palette look. I collect vintage things. This was a vintage tin. This was a vintage box. So I shrunk it down to make it fit. So I'm learning to look at the details that are important, but not every single detail. And that's huge for me, huge. So I want to explain what I have in every quadrant here. So each quadrant, there is an art supply, some kind of nature, and something that happened. So here I was thinking about YouTube. Here was art scissors. Here was a ribbon, and then this was a leaf. On my desk, there is always a revolving box of nature, always. Anytime I go out, whether walking or to the mailbox or walking in the yard, I grab some kind of nature and in it comes. So you can see it's just what I keep on the desk all the time. So I've got several different leaves, some acorns, because that's the season right now. Everything is dried, it's winter here. But I also have things, and I'm going to try to show you things as we go along. I've got piles over on this side of my table and piles on this side of the table. By not limiting what I can put in this, it made it a lot freer for me. Because some days you don't want to paint a little detailed face like this. Some days you just want to come in and paint a leaf or paint some light berries that really don't matter. Not everything has to be the Mona Lisa. That also is a great lesson that I learned in this 365-day challenge. So I'm just gonna flip through, and as I see stuff, you'll notice too, each one kind of has its own color palette, which was pretty surprising to me as I was going, but I really liked that. I'll just do 1 month at a time. It'll be easier for you to see. So this was January. This started my journey. And by the time I got to here, I was seeing that doing it every day is giving me practice in mixing. I'm getting better, more confident. I'm also trying some new colors. By the time I got to her, I was really nervous about making her realistic. And I was like, nope, she's gotta be loose. So let's just put some flesh tone on her, give her some hair streaks, and she's fine. And once I did her, and once I got all of January together, I saw an exciting emergence of a different style. It was less detailed, but not photorealistic. It was more illustrative and playful. And that's just by doing this. There was 31 days, and you can see it is nothing exceptional, nothing. I'm gonna bring it closer so you can see some of the details and see how detailed I am. It's just a little bit of shading. I do most of my shading when it's wet. I drop in more color just to give it a definition. It's nothing fantastic, but yet it was the habit that I was really wanting to create. We move on to February. February, I have this little guy. He's one of my favorite statues. Look how cute his face is. And I just wanted to capture his face. His hair is actually, and the goggles, those are my favorite things about him. So I really wanted to capture that. I didn't care about the rest of the statue. I just wanted to capture that in there. You'll see there's art supplies. We saw an eagle during the day where there's a bright moon, and that was really fun too. Just so you can see the details. And then we went on to March. March, I went on vacation. All of this is from vacation, which was really fun. And you can see it's just really art supplies and things that I found in Florida. I was going to Florida, so there was rocks and seashells, and I took a little mermaid statue. In April, I really loved this pencil eraser here. Look at the color of that. So I thought that would just be really cool to just be there. And usually with my art supplies, I lay them down and I just trace around them. Don't make it complicated. You don't have to draw everything. Just have fun with it. And then in May, I really liked May. This one here, I have a little paper clip here. Look at this. I got this as a gift. And I just really love the simplicity, but the beauty of it. You know, something so pretty as a paper clip, right? And I just placed it there. So you see it's an everyday item. This is my pencil. I use it over and over and over in almost all of them. So there's a pencil. There's brushes. I love Snoopy. They were the first things that I drew as a kid every Sunday when the Sunday comics came out. And when I found this little Snoopy figure, I knew that he had to go into my sketchbook. And usually when I buy it, usually that month I will put it in so that I remember that I bought it. He's one of my favorites. Then we've got June. June here, I love this big button. I have a couple big buttons, but look at the texture of that. Isn't it beautiful? So I've got that up there. I've got a little game piece. I collect game pieces. So that goes here. I've got a little flower. This was just a dried flower that I found, and I love that, so I put it here. You can see it's everyday items. It doesn't have to be really thought out or dramatized. It just has to be with whatever has inspired you that day. Then I've got July. Here I've got the little magnifying glass right there. And I reached 1,000 subscribers in YouTube, so thank you for being one of those. I really appreciate it. I've got leaves, and I've got paper, and I've got pencils, and I've got color. You'll notice that I've got quite a few color charts throughout. It's just a way to fill the page. Then I've got August. August, look at him. This is the little guy. Look how cute he is. he's writing, and I just thought that was a lovely addition to that space. I've got a little car. It's a little charm. You see that? And I've got 3 cars here. I was in a car accident, and that's how I chose to put it in there, so that I would remember it just by using the charms. I'm okay, by the way. Thanks for asking. Then I've got September. I have a little green paintbrush here. Look at, he's right there. I've got some charms. I've got some pencils. Again, I use that same pencil over there with the eraser because I really like the idea of the eraser. I've got this charm here that I just love. So I have a whole little box of charms, and anytime I needed something to fill, I just went and looked through my charms and see what I could find for the day to just add a little sparkle to my page. This was a compass. This I taught a little video on YouTube. You can see, right, that it's just bits and pieces of my everyday. I was taking a class where we were looking at plants and seed pods. Again, here's a Snoopy and a Woodstock because I love them. We saw a duck who was swimming, and all we saw was him going diving all the time. So trying to figure out a way to do that was really interesting. You can see a seagull here. This is a big pen and a Kokeshi doll. I did this section with you, and I will link the video down below when I first talked about my art practice in this book. And then this is November. My composition is getting a little more artistic. I'm starting to really run things together, and I'm liking that a lot so that it creates movement and flow on the page instead of being all over the place. But that's taken a long time to develop, and I really like that. And this was my December. And you can see here's a little crayon that I did here. Here's a colored pencil. Pans of paint. Here I ordered a new pan of paint from a handmade seller, and here's some over here. So I add whatever is new to my studio, try to add whatever is exciting me at the moment. Like if I'm working on a new project, it goes in there, but it's just been a really fantastic practice. So this was 365 days or 365 pieces. And then I did on YouTube, I did my Artful Advent, and this follows the same premise as the Circle of Delight. So that's why I'm including it. And this was 25 pieces. So if you didn't do the Artful Advent, there is a playlist for it, and you can download the pattern and just watch. Everything is by day. So like day 1, day 2, day 3. So each little individual thing is done by a daily video. By doing this practice too, it has helped me draw. If I'm doing a bird or a nature, like this was a barred owl and this was a robin, I actually look them up on Google and search for Google images, and then I just freehand draw them. And you just break it into basic shapes. So it's given me some drawing practice as well. The big thing for me was finding a style that I loved, that still felt like me, that wasn't realistic, but yet it was detailed enough you knew what it was. You know that's a robin. You know this is Snoopy. You know those are a pair of scissors. It's just I don't have every shadow, every highlight. I've got it a little more, I don't want to say whimsical, but I guess it's a little more playful in its styling. And I really, really like that. So this exercise of creating every single day for 5 minutes gets me into my studio and gets me excited on what can I find today? What is going to inspire me? What is going to fit on my page? Is it in the middle of the month? Am I at the end of the month? I always find it the hardest to start the month for some reason, because it's like a blank circle and I'm just like, okay, what goes there first? So the first is always the hardest for me. But once I get through that, it's just become a cycle. It's practice, 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 practice. And for me, as an artist, I believe artist growth comes when you challenge yourself, when you ask what if, and when you practice, practice, practice. Consistency is key because you're working on all cylinders. Like I said, I was looking for inspiration. I was being observant. I wanted to be a little more illustrative, so that means I was breaking the shapes down a little simpler for myself. I also wanted to put details in there, but not every single detail. I hope this has inspired you to try a daily practice for yourself. And remember, 5 minutes is more than enough, because you see, I have 12 beautiful months here just from a 5-minute practice a day. 5 minutes a day. You know, it's just been a beautiful thing, and I just love going through it now, and I have such a visual story to look at for my 2023. I've almost regretted not doing 2024 and just starting it here, but I know that 2025 I will probably fill the book again, because I'm already missing that daily habit. If you were inspired by today's daily practice, please like, comment, or subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.